Assalamu alaikum students. This is video lesson number 3 for class 7 English. We will be working on comprehension today. Dear students, today our lesson is from Unit 1, Adventures of Isabel, Comprehension and Vocabulary. Now, New Oxford English Book 7 is required and we would be working on page number 2, 3, 4 and 5. It will take us approximately 70 minutes to complete the task, so get your notebooks, pencils, sharpeners, textbooks, erasers, everything that you need ready for the work. So let's get to work. Now, by the end of today's lesson, we should be able to identify the main theme of the poem, describe the traits of certain characters from the poem, recognize the meanings of difficult words, answer the given questions of comprehension, complete the crossword puzzle using the meanings provided for the vocabulary in the poem, use of the idiomatic language in the sentences, and specifically replace the word take with appropriate vocabulary in the given sentences. So lots of work to do, but I'm sure we are gonna have fun. Now guys, let's talk about the poet a little bit as well. The person who wrote this poem was named Ogden Nash. He was born in 1902 and he died in 1971. He was an American poet and he was known for writing light and comic verse. Do you know what light and comic verse is? He never used to write very complicated and lengthy poems. His poems used to be very simple and funny. He wrote over 500 comic poems, and from a very young age he loved to rhyme and would often make up or adopt words that he could not find one that rhymed. So he used to make up words even to make them rhyme as well. So that was pretty interesting about him. Also, Ogden Nash was best known producer of humorous poetry. What do you think humorous means? Humorous means that he used to write funny poems and everybody used to love the poetry he used to write. Now before we start working, tell me, what do you think is an adventure? Yes, an adventure could be when we are working on something fun, when we are doing something that we otherwise thought might be dangerous, or something that we never wanted to take the time out for. Have you ever been on an adventure? Any trip to the mountainous areas could be an adventure. Think about it and tell me, have you ever been on an adventure? Now tell the story of your adventure. I would be very interested in that story. What actually made that adventure so memorable? Did you come across some challenges? Did you find something interesting? Did you meet some very interesting people? So what made it so memorable? Did you make good new friends during that adventure? So tell me about it. Now guys, before we start actually reading the poem, let's warm up a little bit, just like we warm up for any exercise. So, what do you think this poem is about, Adventures of Isabel? Here are some of the pictures from the book, and look at the title, The Adventures of Isabel, and tell me which of these pictures suggest that what sort of poem it is. Or from the title, what do you think the poem is about? Now remember, you are just making guesses at this point. It is not compulsory that your answer is going to be 100% correct. We will check later on whether your guesses were correct or not. So enjoy and make your guesses and tell your teacher. Now students, before we actually start reading the poem, it is important to understand the meaning of certain words. If we understand the meanings of these words, it would become easy for us to understand the poem. Cavernous, it's a large dark cave-like space. Concoctor, maker, person who mixes ingredients to make something. Like a witch would make a potion. Crowed, shout with delight. Hideous, very ugly. Pitch, a a black sticky substance made from tar. Rancor, long-standing bitterness or resentment, meaning keeping a grudge for someone. Ravenous, very hungry. Scurry, move hurriedly with short, quick steps. Self-reliant, able to rely on or look after oneself. Sprinkled, irregularly dispersed or randomly spread out. Remember when you sprinkle salt all over your food, or you sprinkle something on the floor? That is what we call sprinkle. It is not in any particular order. Wheat, it is toasted crisp bread. It's a type of a bread. Now before I start reading the poem, remember you are looking for certain answers, because how will you understand why you're reading the poem if there is no purpose of it? So listen to the poem carefully or read the poem silently and then look for these answers. What did Isabel do before she ate the bear? What did the witch look like? How did Isabel deal with the witch? What did the giant want to do to Isabel? What was Isabel doing during her meeting with the giant? What did the doctor want Isabel to do? How did Isabel deal with the doctor? So you have to figure out what each one wanted to do to Isabel and what Isabel did to them. Basically, that's what our task is about. So you already know that Isabel would be coming across 3 different people or creatures. So this sounds very interesting. Let's start. Now students, let's read the poem. First I will read it and then you can read it as well. I'm sure you will enjoy it. Isabel met an enormous bear. Isabel didn't care. The bear was hungry, the bear was ravenous. The bear's mouth was cruel and cavernous. The bear said, Isabel, glad to meet you. How do, Isabel? Now I'll eat you. Isabel didn't worry. Isabel didn't scream or scurry. She washed her hands and straightened her hair up. Then Isabel quickly ate the bear up. Once in a night as black as pitch, Isabel met a wicked old witch. Witch's face was cross and wrinkled. The witch's gums with teeth were sprinkled. Ho, ho, Isabel, the old witch crowed. I'll turn you into an ugly toad. Isabel didn't worry. Isabel didn't scream or scurry. Isabel showed no rage and she showed no rancor. But she turned the witch into milk and drank her. Isabel met a hideous giant. Isabel continued self-reliant. The giant was hairy, the giant was horrid. He had one eye in the middle of his forehead. Good morning, Isabel, the giant said. I'll grind your bones to make my bread. Isabel didn't worry. Isabel didn't scream or scurry. She nibbled the Z-bag that she always fed off, and when it was gone, she cut the giant's head off. Isabel met a troublesome doctor. He punched and he poked till he really shocked her. The doctor's talk was all of cough and chills, and the doctor's satchel bulged with pills. The doctor said unto Isabel, Swallow this and I'll make you well. Isabel didn't worry. Isabel didn't scream or scurry. She took those pills from the pill concoctor. Isabel calmly cured the doctor. Now, let's see. You have read the poem. Now take a few minutes and look at these questions again and prepare your answers. And I will ask you in 2 minutes. What did Isabel do before she ate the bear? Isabel straightened her hair before she ate the bear. What did the witch look like? Yes, the witch had a cross, wrinkled face and she had very little teeth in her mouth. How did Isabel deal with the witch? Yes, Isabel turned the witch into milk and she ate and she drank her. What did the giant want to do to Isabel? Yes, the giant wanted to turn Isabel into bread. He wanted to grind her bones and turn her into bread. What was Isabel doing during her meeting with the giant? Isabel was eating her own bread. What did the doctor want Isabel to do? The doctor wanted to give pills to Isabel. How did Isabel deal with the doctor? Yes, she simply listened to him and took whatever medicine he gave her. And so she cured him. Now that we have read the poem Adventures of Isabel, now let's take 5 minutes and think about the answers of these two questions. Do all the characters Isabel meets behave the way that you would expect them to? Now remember, the question is about you would expect them to behave. What details from the poem show us that Isabel is self-reliant? Now think about the answers and I will ask you in a minute. I hope you have thought and prepared the answers and given them to your teacher. I believe that Isabel meets all these characters and they all behave in exactly the way any character would behave in any fairy tale. However, the doctor behaves just like any other doctor we come across, expecting us to eat the pills and everything like that. And then he becomes very happy when we eat the pills he gives us. What details from the poem shows us that Isabel is self-reliant? Yes, Isabel never panics, she never gives up or screams or shouts. She simply deals with the matter the way it is supposed to be dealt with and quietly resolves it. Now take 15 minutes and answer these questions in your notebooks. I will wait for your work to be done. Best of luck. Now guys, comes the time to do something fun. At the same time, we would be working on our vocabulary and also we would be working on something that is a game. Have you ever worked on the crossword puzzle? Yes, today we are working on a crossword puzzle. You have to work with some of the words here. Now, meanings have been given to you over here. Find the words in the poem that have the same and or nearly the same meaning as the following and then fill in the crossword puzzle that is over here. Now remember, I'll give you a little hint before you start working. The words will be added from top to bottom. So let's check whether you can complete this work or not. Take 10 minutes to complete the puzzle. Now, the best part or the fun part of this task is that you can complete it with your pair. Now guys, I hope you have finished the task. If not, and you are still confused, let me solve the first one for you. The first one is a type of a bag, and that's a satchel. Now you should pause the video over here and complete the rest of the crossword puzzle if you have not completed it. Take your time and then play the video. Now you must have completed the crossword puzzle. Now let's check whether your answers are correct or not. Number 2, grind. Number 3, ravenous. Number 4, cured. Wrinkled. Continued. Bulged. Rage. Zevak. And scream. Well done guys, you have done a great job. Now, students, we have read the poem and we have come across some very strange language in the poem as well. But it was fun, wasn't it? Now, let's talk about idiomatic language. This is another fun part of the lesson today. Now, you see, idiomatic language is a very informal language. It has a meaning different from the meaning of the words in the expression. Confused? Well, the examples will make it clear. Now, for example, we're all the time using this term, hold your tongue. Does it literally mean like hold your tongue? No, not at all. It just means that we should be careful while we are speaking, or we should stop talking where it is not appropriate. It doesn't actually mean that you open your mouth and you hold the tongue in your hand. Now, let's check another example. He caught a cold. Does it mean that you actually get up and you caught the germ of the cold? No, it just means that somebody caught some flu and they are sick. Now, do you catch somebody's eye actually in your hand? No, that would be so gross. A nice mango caught my eye. It's just an expression where something catches your attention. It doesn't actually mean that you're going to go and poke somebody's eye out and put it in your eye or in your hand. So, well, I told you this is going to be fun. So, this is what we call idiomatic language. Wasn't it easy? We use it all the time in our language. We just do not know what it is. Now, students, we have talked about idiomatic language, and I hope it was very easy to understand. Now, look at this exercise that is there in your books. This is textbook page number 5, exercise B, question number 3. What I want you to do is that we also use the word take in a number of different ways. So, replace the italicized words with the ones of your own. Do not use the word take. Now, in the given sentences, the word takes has been used. Now, these words are in italics. You have to change these words in such a way that the sentence makes sense, yet the word take is not used. Now, pause the video over here and take 10 minutes to complete the task. I hope you have completed the task. Do not play the video further if you have not answered these questions. If you do so without answering them, then that would be cheating, and we do not want to cheat. Now let's check whether our answers are correct or not. Adnan takes after his father. Yes, Adnan looks like his father, or Adnan resembles his father. Well done. She's very proud. Someone must take her down. She's very proud. Someone must humiliate her. Well, take her down can be replaced with humiliate her, but humiliating someone is not something good, so don't do that. Don't allow yourself to be taken in by his sales talk. Yes, don't allow yourself to be fooled or deceived by his sales talk. Good job. His writing has taken on a peculiar style. His writing has developed or acquired or adopted a peculiar style. Very good. Can you take in what the author means? Can you understand what the author means? Very good. Well done, guys. You have done a great job. Clapping for yourselves. Now, guys, let's talk about homework. So, homework, I'm sure, is going to be very easy for you today because most of this work we have discussed in class. Homework number 1 is exercise A, page number 4. You have to complete question number 1, part number A till G. And we have discussed these answers in the class, so it should be very easy for you to complete. Now, homework 2 is about idiomatic language. This is page number 5, exercise B, and this is going to be another very easy task for you to complete. We have discussed idiomatic language. Now what you have to do is you have to use these phrases that are given over here in sentences of your own. And only point that you have to remember that is that you have to use the word catch or caught in it. So I hope that would be interesting. But remember, you must never copy the sentences from anywhere because that would be cheating and you do not want to cheat. Best of luck and please submit your work to your teacher on time. Now guys, let's wrap up the lesson by talking about all that we have discussed today. It will help us remember whether we have understood everything or not. If anything still confuses you, you can ask the questions. What 4 creatures did Isabel come across in the poem? Yes, she came across a doctor, a witch, a bear, and a giant. What did she do to each one of them? She ate the bear, she turned the witch into milk and drank her, she cut off the head of the giant, and she cured the doctor by taking his pills. What is the meaning of the word self-reliant? Yes, the meaning of this word self-reliant is somebody who doesn't depend on anyone, who is independent, just like Isabel was, because she never panicked and she did everything on her own. What is idiomatic language? Yes, idiomatic language is the informal language where you say something in a totally different way from its meaning. When you are saying like hold your tongue, you're not actually holding the tongue, you're just asking somebody to be careful while they speak. Now guys, I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. I thoroughly enjoyed the day. So please have fun, enjoy the lesson, keep learning and best of luck. Allah Hafiz.